Hello there guys, I'm Darryl Griffiths. Welcome to my latest video film review. I hope you've all been very well. Today, I think the jumper sort of gives it away, to be honest, but at long last, I will be reviewing Star Wars. It is Rogue One, the much anticipated spin-off within this beloved franchise, and it is the first of many that are being planned across the next few years that Disney and Lucasfilm are going to unleash upon audiences. This particular one is directed by Gareth who provided us with the most recent interpretation of Godzilla and the brilliant indie monsters, which I really do believe should be sought out. It is a terrific piece of work if you haven't seen it. Now, Rogue One. There's going to be a hint of apprehension, which you can understand because George Lucas's prequels, for all their neat tie-ins within the mythology of Star Wars, they didn't go down that well, let's be honest. And there is plenty of secrecy about Rogue One. All we know, essentially, that it is a fully fleshing out of the opening crawl, which kick-started this wonderful franchise back in 1977, almost 40 years ago next year. Incredible stuff. So I've got to tiptoe around the narrative because I don't want you guys watching this and wanting to force choke me in the style of Darth Vader. So, Jyn Erso, played by Felicity Jones, who's been the likes of The Theory of Everything and this year's Inferno, directed by Ron Howard. She is a gutsy, rebellious misfit within this world. She's looking to hatch a plan to steal plans of the Death Star and really upset the big guns at the Galactic Empire, particularly Ben Mendelsohn's Orson Krennic. And she enlists the help along the way of the likes of Diego Luna's rebel officer Cassian, a blind swordsman played by Donnie Yen, Riz Ahmed, Forrest Whitaker's character Saw Gerrera. There are so many different dynamics that are formed within the film and the plot strands that are ultimately intertwined. Again, I can't drip feed the details, and of course there is an appearance in the big bad, Darth Vader, which has been teased in the trailers. Again, I can't say how much of an impression he makes for the sake of spoilers, but it does cause a power struggle with the Rebel Alliance and the Galactic Empire and ultimately sets up what came before it. Now, Rogue One, as a coherent whole and as a standalone film, it is fantastic. There is a great evocative war film at its core, and for all its tonal shifts, they're really subtle and it's very distinct away from the original trilogy and the prequels. It's still very much Star Wars at its heart, and that's the most impressive thing about it. The direction of Edwards, there is some lush, sumptuous imagery on hand here, on display. There are gorgeous pans. The action sequences are beautifully orchestrated, particularly the beach battle, which has been teased again in the clips that we've already seen. There are wonderful slow motion shots that are very evocative and really powerful and potent. And if there were reshoots, which again, very well documented, again, with such a beloved franchise, it's bound to be spoiled in that sense. They were handled by Tony Gilroy, who is a scriptwriter on the film, and he directed The Bourne Legacy, which didn't go down too well, let's be honest. But if there were reshoots, they're very subtly placed. There's not many stretchings out of where they've been placed within the coherent whole of the film, and I think that's testament to how much care has gone into the film by Gilroy and director Edwards. So props to both on that regard. Of course, the performances. There are so many characters that are trying to find some screen time within the film, and occasionally there is that issue that some do get sidelined. But at its heart, a terrific female heroine. Felicity Jones is... There's a real empathy, there's moments of fragility, but there's a really headstrong character at its core within Jyn Erso. And the secrets that she holds or unravels within the film, because there has been teases of Mads Mikkelsen's character. Again, I'm not going to say how much of a role he plays, but he does have a distinct bond with Jyn, as you can imagine. So, again, I'm not going to say anything. Diego Luna is great support, and I think he captures the battle weariness of this world and the snap decisions that you can make within this intense warfare as Cassian, and it forms a terrific dynamic between Jyn and himself. Donnie Yen's blind swordsman is fantastic. He's a very spiritual, philosophical being, and he peppers the film with some really elegant moments, and Riz Ahmed is great support once again. It's great to see so many British talents, particularly within this film, and really that have probably deserved a break and are really hopefully going to get one with Rogue One. I really hope they do, especially Riz Ahmed. I think he's a fantastic, underrated actor, and to see him on hand here is fantastic. Forrest Whitaker is an extremely sort of fanatical character, as Saw Gerrera, and we don't really know whether he's on the good side or the bad side. He's a very peculiar character, and he hams it up, admittedly, but again, he's brilliant support for what unravels within the tight-knit narrative. For all the brilliance of Rogue One, there are tiny niggles, I'm not going to lie. I think the plot strands in the first, say, 20-30 minutes are a tad laboured in trying to intertwine and get characters formed together. And in particular reveals, the composition of the sequences are beautiful. But there are, in what it's trying to achieve with certain characters, again, I can't really say much more than that because I feel like I'll spoil it. There are, the way they are lit, sometimes it accentuates what it's trying to achieve in not the best way possible. Some are fantastic, some aren't quite as convincing, shall I say. But other than that, Rogue One is a fantastic spin-off, no doubt about it. I think it falls very neatly within the original trilogy. It wipes the floor with the prequels in terms of quality, I have to say, so props to Gareth Edwards. And I think it takes some ballsy approaches to how it ties things in and wraps up certain character arcs, and it really gives me hope. If you could argue that maybe The Force Awakens kept pressing the nostalgia button a bit too much, because that was an argument made against The Force Awakens in some quarters. I think with Rogue One, I think there is enough chances taken with the narrative that will satisfy fans without tarnishing its legacy. It really enriches what was born in 1977. So Rogue One, not that you need much convincing. It's a lucrative franchise. It has a beloved fan base, but it is a fantastic start of what is coming over the next few years with Star Wars, and I really hope you enjoy it. That is a wrap on a review of Rogue One. I sincerely hope you've enjoyed it. You can subscribe to my YouTube channel below. Again, much appreciated to everybody who keeps checking out these videos. Up next is Passengers with Chris Pratt and Jennifer Lawrence, and that will likely be my last video review of the year, so I can sincerely hope that you can tune in for that. But that is a wrap for now. I hope you enjoy Rogue One, and if the review of Passengers is not out before the festive period, I sincerely hope that you all have a terrific Christmas. I've been Darryl Griffiths, and I will speak to you soon, guys. Take care, and I will see you very soon. Thank you very much.